January 8th, 2006, 20 years ago to the day, one moment changed wrestling history forever. John Cena had just outlasted 5 of Raw's best in a grueling Elimination Chamber match and lay bloody on the canvas, and then... McMahon then announced that Edge was cashing in his Money in the Bank privilege, and Edge came out with Lita, handed over the briefcase to McMahon, and in a sub-2 minute match, dominated Cena, hit 2 spears, and won the WWE Championship for the first time in his career. And in those 3 minutes and 59 seconds, WWE history was changed forever. At the time, this just felt like a shocking title change, but looking back with 20 years of hindsight, this wasn't just a moment, it was one of the most important moments in WWE history. Edge had been the recipient of a fairly sustained push for the previous year, but no one was really sure if they'd pull the trigger on him as an actual main event guy at the time. With how Cena had been booked in 2005, there was every chance Money in the Bank would be just another plot device for him to overcome. That changed the moment the referee's hand struck the mat a third time. Edge joined the likes of Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, The Undertaker, as only the 34th man to ever hold the WWE Championship. And sure, Cena won the belt back in like 3 weeks at the Royal Rumble, but the point was, Edge was on the list, and it set him up to cement himself as a main event guy over the remainder of 2006. But Edge didn't just win the title, he proved the concept. With the wrong execution, Money in the Bank would have been a one and done experiment, but Edge was the perfect guy to pull it off. And we have him to thank for such a significant part of WWE history. The timing was perfect. This came immediately after only the 4th Elimination Chamber match in WWE history. John Cena had never looked more vulnerable since winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 21 when Edge won the Money in the Bank briefcase. Edge knew it, WWE knew it. And having Vince McMahon explain exactly what was happening and explicitly confirm that this was how Money in the Bank worked was crucial. Today, we're conditioned to explode the moment a briefcase holder's music hits. But back in 2006, without that clarification, the moment could have been muddied by confusion over whether this was even legal. Vince's seal of approval didn't just legitimize Edge's cash-in, it opened the door for the more dramatic style of cash-in we've grown accustomed to ever since. Now that WWE knew that this could work, they realised it could work again. And work again it did. 17 men and women have used Money in the Bank to claim their first ever world title in WWE, including Edge himself, Rob Van Dam, CM Punk, Jack Swagger, The Miz, Alberto Del Rio, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Carmella, Nikki ASH, Big E, Liv Morgan, Damian Priest, Io Sky, and Tiffany Stratton. And between those 17 alone, there are nearly 50 combined reigns as world champion in WWE. Across 2 decades and both divisions, Money in the Bank has become one of WWE's most powerful star-making tools. But its impact goes far beyond the title belts. It's also transformed the way WWE tells stories. For many wrestling fans, the Attitude Era is the pinnacle of pro wrestling, the era where anything could happen. And Money in the Bank captures that same feeling today. The moment a briefcase holder is near a vulnerable world champion, the buzz starts. Fans know they could be about to witness history. But aside from that, Money in the Bank serves many more purposes. Like, you want to take the world title off someone without making them lose clean? Money in the Bank. Need a water cooler moment to get people talking about the product? Money in the Bank. Someone's character could do with freshening up with a dramatic heel turn? Money in the Bank. You need to take someone from almost a main eventer to a credible world champion? Money in the bank. On top of all that, Edge's cash-in created a new respect for opportunism in wrestling heels. Suddenly, they weren't just cowards who would hide behind allies and eventually get their comeuppance. They were now genuine world championship contenders. But in all of this that we've talked about so far, there's one person people forget this helped just as much.
And his name is John Cena!
There's some debate as to who is truly John Cena's greatest rival. Is it CM Punk? Their feud was legendary, but the initial 2011 burst was a few months long and filled with so many distractions.
OMG, Kevin Nash, WTF, thought he was dead, LOL.
And their brief revisit the following year didn't capture quite the same magic. And what about Randy Orton? Sure, in terms of pure quantity of matches and length of time, Orton's a great pick. But does anyone really remember that feud fondly? No. John Cena's greatest rival is Edge. And 20 years ago today was their first ever one-on-one match. But it spawned countless singles matches, stipulation bouts, triple threats, fatal four-ways, elimination chambers, and it never seemed to get old. If Bret and Shawn defined the new generation, and Austin and Rock defined the Attitude Era, then Cena and Edge defined their era, in my opinion. Which brings us back to the question, what actually changed that night? The answer is everything. Edge became a credible main event star. Cena gained his greatest rival. So many stars winning their first world title via Money in the Bank because this night worked. Some of the greatest moments in WWE history wouldn't have been possible without Money in the Bank. Rivalries might not have happened without Money in the Bank to activate them, or at least not in the same way. Whole shows might not have been the same. Money in the Bank expanded the Big Four to a Big Five after decades of nothing coming close. Other wrestling companies use briefcases and contracts as storytelling devices and threats to their champions now. So yeah, at WWE New Year's Revolution 2006, 4 minutes changed the entire course of wrestling history for the next 20 years and counting. And it's all thanks to the incredible performances of Edge and John Cena. If Edge hadn't been Edge, and if John Cena hadn't been John Cena, everything could, and probably would, have been very different. In conclusion, was Edge's cash-in at New Year's Revolution 2006 the most significant moment in wrestling history? No. Was it the most significant moment in WWE history? No. But is it right up there in the upper echelon of significant history-shifting moments in all of wrestling history? Yeah, I would say so. I don't know what my top 5 or top 10 would be, but I would imagine this would probably at least break the top 10. Let me know if you agree in the comments section down below. But it's when you think of like the moments we've had because Money in the Bank worked, when you think of the careers that have been launched by Money in the Bank, and when you think of just the sensation that Money in the Bank has become, it's a lot of people's favourite show of the year, and I can understand why. Really exciting ladder matches, and then the ongoing threat to the champions and the ongoing potential for unpredictability, for stories to take a sudden left turn because suddenly this guy wants to cash in his briefcase. Like, I understand exactly why. And I think without Money in the Bank, WWE would have been a much less interesting product. And it's not always been amazing anyway, but whether it's been good or bad or somewhere in the middle, I think it would always have been just a little bit worse for not having Money in the Bank in it. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm overstating how significant this moment was? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new here. I'd love to get into doing more video essay kind of stuff. Traditionally, when it's been the anniversary of like a show and it's been like a nice round 20 years, I've done a watch along. And I was going to do the same for this, but then I thought, no, this isn't just 20 years of, like, this show. This is a genuinely monumental moment, in my opinion, in wrestling history. And I thought I'd more focus in on just that moment and have a conversation about it. So let me know if you prefer this format to the old watch-alongs. The old watch-alongs do great on numbers, by the way, for me. But I thought I'd just try something a bit different. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been EBEZA, you've been amazing, and I'll see you next time.